Good afternoon, everybody. This is Peter Hawes, and I train uh, wannabe champions at English in the English language. Um, I'm not so much a teacher as I am an instructor, mentor, coach, if you like, to show anyone who has any level of English, from novice upwards, to better know how to use the English language. Something I discovered later on in life, and I've got IRINALDO Silva as one of my most recent recruits, who is very keen to better his English. He's got a level of English which is, I would say novice at this time, but his appetite to learn is huge. And I've created this live simulcast through YouTube Live, through my channel Gobido Media, and I'm just waiting for him to come online. Meanwhile, I need to do some tests, which I don't mind doing while we're online, because we have some bandwidth issues. I've only just started using StreamYard to go live on YouTube Live Studio, and it's called a simulcast. And what a simulcast is a video conference that is broadcast to social media channels. I only have the free account at the moment testing this, and many others. I've tested OBS, Restream, Vimeo, and others service providers, because it's a service, software as a service, which means that whatever meeting you're having, video conference meeting, any Zoom does it too. Also, of course, Meet. That meeting is not just live, it's actually done as a conduit to a channel output, say at Facebook feed, Facebook page, could be obviously YouTube Live, which is what we're doing here, and any other social media channel that accepts streaming. It's a live streaming feature. Simulcast, meaning that you can do to multiple channels. So when you have, depending on what service you have, you can point to Facebook page, and other social media channels simultaneously, meaning you can capture an audience larger than just a one-to-one, those who subscribe to your meeting or those who are invited to your meeting by you. So today we're going to test how an instruction of one of my the first step on getting onto the Lexicon Exchange program, which we now call the Lexex, as a hybrid program of being online on the internet using various means, including this simulcast, or indeed in person. Today we had an interesting hybrid, because we had Carlos Antonio come to the house, to the greenhouse where I have my studio, language studio, and we broadcast, simulcast what we talked about, and we have that as a recording, 35 minutes. And those 35 minutes, I will then manipulate using other software and represent on YouTube as a demo. In the future will be structured classes once we perfect the technique. And indeed, the transfer of the raw file that comes from, let's say, StreamYard. StreamYard sends the file to YouTube, but you cannot manipulate the captions, the subtitles, closed captions as they call, until you've edited the video and reloaded it. So it's a little bit of a manipulation. In any event, the end goal is to have both me speaking and subtitles, bilingual subtitles on the screen, which will follow my speech precisely. The viewer can then repeat what I'm saying as we go along, and we call that shadow speaking, because in the end, one needs to speak a language if one learns a language. So it is absolutely imperative, and it doesn't matter what it sounds like at the beginning. The most important thing is that participants to the program, the Lexicon Exchange, go through it. And why is it called the Lexicon Exchange? The lexicon is about the words that belong to your life, your vocabulary, your personal vocabulary. So Carlos's vocabulary is going to be very different to IRINALDO, who hopefully will join us soon. There may be an issue because we had to change the time set at the last minute. In any case, I'm taking the opportunity to record this this video, which I will then on Monday. It is Saturday today, October the 16th, and it's just gone 2 o'clock. It's 2:10 in the afternoon. I have my doors open and the business open and the tuition open until 3 p.m. and then it stops. After 3 p.m. in the future, if people here at the greenhouse turn up, we will have a social. I'm building an outside kitchen area, which I call the cook's station, which has a grill, proper barbecue grill, a pot pit grill, which is like a New Zealand Samoa hanging using stones, heated stones to cook food baked under stone. And I also have a mini pizza oven, which I also use for a tandoor to cook tandoori food or Indian food, naan bread, and proper tandoori flavored food, which needs to be cooked in a particular way. Indeed, it can work also as a bread oven, assuming that we can build it in a way that the heat can be retained. Again, these are just test videos. If we can make it happen, it'll be fantastic. So if you just give me a moment, I'm going to go silent for a little bit while I go to call up the Word document that will show you what steps are taken. Today, we're going to talk about the first steps, which is the onboarding, which includes also a tuition on how to write your microbiography about you in what we call what is known as about.me portal. About.me is a free channel portal online which you subscribe to, and it helps you build your microbiography very elementally. What I do is I instruct, I show, and I mentor and help each of the people who want to come on board the program, the Lexicon Exchange, how to write that microbiography, with what I call 3 evidences, which are: who am I, where do I live? Evidence 1. What do I do? Evidence 2. What do I want to do, or what do I offer? Evidence 3. And then at the end, you do a conclusive statement, which is a personal statement about you. Very similar to how a biography would be written by another person, because an autobiography is when you write about yourself. But we're not going to get too confused today about that. We're just going to focus on writing a microbiography, because then the individual who's trying to learn English will see how English is put together. And that person is unlikely to have done this in his or her own native tongue. Excuse me, I've got a call coming in. Oi, Rinaldo?
Tá me ouvindo?
Tá ouvindo? O que acontece? Tá aberto.
Não, faz o seguinte, manda o link para mim da sala no WhatsApp.
Já não mandei? Ok, vou mandar de novo. Peraí.
Tá bom.
Peraí, a ver se você consegue. Okay, maybe I didn't send that link. I thought I did. I put it on the. I put it on the. No, I did. I sent it. Sorry, I would just kind of like. Yeah, it was sent earlier. So in the early stages of trying something completely new, and the idea being is that rather than pick up a textbook and go through the difficult stages of learning grammar first, we're encouraging people to build up confidence first, build up their microbiome. Their microbiomes online they can use in social media to publicize themselves and use it as a conduit to build up their knowledge about how to speak about themselves. When you meet someone of a foreign language in a foreign land, they're likely to say, hey, what's your name and what do you do? And if you can't say those things in response, my name is Peter, I'm a trainer of the English language, I help English as a second language wannabes to better their English. And here's IRINALDO, you can see him just come in. We can have up to 6 people at any one time. Oi,
Peter,
tudo
good
bom?
afternoon.
Good afternoon. So we're going to speak in English, o portunhol, bilíngue. Você está vivo, ninguém está olhando agora, mas este video vai ser gravado e colocado em YouTube.
Perfeito, ok.
Você concorda, não?
Ok.
And I'll speak in English because the video that I'm going to be working on as a training session, and this is a trial. I was doing an explanation earlier of what we do. This will become more perfect as we find out what the bandwidth limitations are, what the equipment limitations are. But as I just explained you coming in, we can have 6 people at any one time in a class simultaneously transmitting to multiple channels on social media. At the moment, we're on the trial version of StreamYard. And StreamYard is a very, very good system. They're all very good and they all have their pluses. There are no minuses. But the good thing about StreamYard, it's very good to use on a mobile and very easy to set the meeting or the simulcast and to conduct the meeting. So we can have 6 people live on screen like you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if Karina was available, Carlos was available, Diego was available, and Wilson was available, who are the other candidates, then we would have 6 people in a class. Then everybody can enjoy the meeting after the meeting is done. You can listen to it again because I've set this meeting to go to YouTube Live Studio. And what that does, it puts it automatically into a YouTube video that you can access. I can make it private or I can make it public. The first role will be public, so everybody can see the dynamics of it. However, when we take that video, we have to manipulate it because I cannot do the closed capture subtitles, either in English or bilingually, which I'd now be able to do without editing that file in a convoluted way. I'm trying to find the easiest way to do that. So today, we're just going to demonstrate, even if we don't complete, what are the steps to get through to write a microbiography. I'm not going to go through the steps of registering an account on About Me, but we are going to say, here's the first steps. IRINALDO has now registered his account on About.me. He's done the initial, my interests and what I do. Now is the evidences. And those evidences are really statements that are true. My name is, I do this, and I want to do that. Or I want to offer that, depending how you want to channel that. We create that as an elemental first pass. As you progress and build your knowledge of English, particularly your vocabulary, all right, you and your ability to write and understand how English is written, which essentially I say, the less you write, the more meaning you have. Because in Portuguese and in Spanish, which incidentally is my mother tongue, although I'm British, I learned, as you know, I learned Spanish first. English is my second language. So I've been through the process of learning English, and I'm going through the process now of learning Portuguese. So I know those dynamics. But I did learn on an executive MBA in California when I lived there, that I attended and I assisted and I was a participant to. And it was a very, very good training. They showed me how to communicate effectively. And I'd already been working 25 years in the architecture business, of which many of those years were in the pharmaceutical industry. And I communicated pretty good, but I communicate so much better 10 years on now that I learned 10 years ago what it is and what it takes to put together a sentence or put together conversation. And it really follows a structure. I think, like today with Carlos, even in conversation, he tended to go, and I do it too, we all do it. The more succinct you are, especially when you meet someone for the first time or the first few times, those people are meeting many more people or communicating with many more people. So the more succinct and the quicker you get your message across, the more interest you're going to generate, either be it social or be it business or be it academic, it doesn't matter. So one thing we did have a problem with this morning is calling up the Word document. So I'm going to now share the screen and pull up the Word document that you have already received, which puts together everybody's essential elements of the microbiography. But before I do that, let me give an example of what a microbiography would be for someone famous, which is, let's say, Martin Luther King. And I use Martin Luther King because when I launched this program in January 2008, it was the week that the Americans were celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday. So let's say Martin Luther King is writing a microbiography. He would say this: my name is Martin Luther King. I am a Baptist minister. I changed the world of discrimination in the United States. I am now dead. That sounds very dramatic, but I've done it on purpose to emphasize. So, my name is evidence one. You can't change the fact that he is who he is. I am a Baptist minister. Evidence two. He was indeed a Baptist minister. You can't challenge that. And three, evidence three, I changed the world of discrimination in the United States, which he did. Now he's dead. So all that is evidence that supports your statement. Of course, we want to be more elaborative as we get to know more how to communicate about ourselves. And as I said earlier, it's probably unlikely that you have written about yourself in your native language of Portuguese, let alone writing in a foreign language, which is English, a foreign language that you're learning, of course, which is English. Now, you have a great appetite to learn English, which is very encouraging. I think you have passed the threshold of confidence, okay, which means that confidence for you is not a problem. You are sending us voice messages on our WhatsApp channel or group channel, fantastic. And you're combining, you're sharing, you're interacting, and trying to encourage others, because really that's the focus of the program. I'm not here to teach you English. You can teach yourself English, okay? If I teach you English from grammar upwards, we'll be here 5 years on, and you still may not have confidence. So I start with confidence first. So writing about yourself is very important. The next step, as you know, is writing a LinkedIn profile. And ultimately, the third step is to write a one-pager online. In other words, you're going to have your own mini web page. Because as the future goes, we are going to have to be communicating ourselves and about ourselves online. So the better you get to know how to structure that communications, the better you'll be, and in the future and sooner. Grammar comes, perfection comes. Accent, I don't encourage you to do any accent other than the accent that you have, because that's genuine. It would be disingenuous if you try to speak like me, or like an American from New York, or from like an American from Texas. Okay, it's up to you. We had this exercise with Carlos this morning. He now realizes that he's just got to speak at himself and speak with emphasis, speak with emotion. And the same you do in writing in a very incandescent way, I suppose you could use that word. But you have to learn how to do that in time. So let me go share the screen and let's see, and hopefully the bandwidth at this time of the day is not a problem. Okay. So we'll share this screen. And now we're going to call up the Word document. Sometimes take a little while to come up. No, it's pretty quick today. So this document is a shared file with Wilson, Diego, Irinaldo, and Carlos. And it consolidates the first of their microbiome, which is register and have online and have a URL. Sorry, I thought I called up the document already, but I have not. And Irinaldo, we're going to keep this video to no more than 35 minutes, which basically emulates what would be normally a 40-minute session, because I don't do more than 40 minutes, even if it's a 2-hour engagement with me, because we do 40 minutes as a standard class, a 10-minute break, and then a 40 minutes for a second session in a 2-hour slot. So, okay, I got the Ethernet cable connected directly. I'm actually going to get a Cat 6 cable, hopefully this afternoon, which will make it a little faster. Okay, so again, I repeat, and I can't emphasize enough, that whoever joins the Lexicon Exchange program, the biggest focus they must have is talk about themselves and learn how to do that in the English language. In that process, I get to know who they are, so I can help that individual build up his or her vocabulary in the English language. And while the Microsoft document is trying to boot, I'll explain that it is already researched and written about, even including by University of Cambridge, that you only need 1,000 to 1,500 words, 1,500 words, for an 85% competency in English. If you want to be 95% competent, you need to target between 3,000 and 5,000 words. And what I say is about 1,500 about your business or your area of study, 1,500 of your leisure or any leisure, and 1,500 about private. And you should cover most things. Okay, so we have here a document that has everybody in progress. It's a work in progress document. Even I'm going to rewrite my document, rewrite my about me. So the challenge is to structure a 3+1 part microbiome with the logic of premises, which I call evidences. And the Portuguese is in there. I won't speak in Portuguese because I don't want to confuse the closed caption, but you can read it there. You can read that? Irinaldo,
Okay.
¿me está bien? ¿Usted puede leer?
Yeah.
Okay. What is a premise? A premise is a proposition with logic, which you may infer. Sorry, it's jumping around a little bit. Which you infer, and is something that proceeds as backup a conclusion. In other words, you say what you do, and you say what you mean, and you mean what you say. In English, a premise is a previous statement of proposition from which another is inferred or follows as a conclusion. So I am Martin Luther King. I am a Baptist minister. I changed the world of discrimination in the United States. Unequivocal statements. I'm now dead. Okay, that's the conclusion. So that's a very elemental way of going about it. In the document, I describe this in Portuguese. But don't forget the premise. A premise is also a property. In other words, it could be a shop, a store, or a building of any kind. So this is how crazy the English language can be. So the evidence I describe as evidences are substantiations, badly spelled there. I need to change that. No,
Subestações, né? Substations.
substantiation.
Yeah.
Substantiations. Something you state verbally, write, or declare as a statement of truth, intent, or capacity. Okay? The Oxford English Dictionary, okay, describes this as the available body of facts or information indicating whether a belief of proposition is true. So you can't be talking about yourself unless you can stack it up and back it up. Stack it up and back it up. So these are the other ones we're working on. Okay, so here's Diego, for example. He's got his pretty much advanced. You can see from the structure of the paragraphs, one, okay, I am a professor. I have particular interests. I decided to. That's the kind of thing he wants to write about. And I don't encourage anyone to do anything other than write about themselves. So Irinaldo, who has, we need to change your picture so it's so we can actually see your face properly. We go through the process. So would you like to read to us your brief microbiome, please?
Okay. Hello, I am Ronaldo. I am a father living in Natal, state of Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil. I am a fan of technology, music, and fitness. I am also interested in politics and innovations. You can hire me with a click on the button above.
Okay, so let me explain. About me can be used in multiple ways, but you're trying to draw attention and do what's called a call to action. What next? Irinaldo's presenting himself to the populace. What does Irinaldo want you to do? He wants you to
Okay.
hire him. So he needs to articulate his text to say, what value can I offer? All right, other than give a statement about who you are, what you've done. Because when you write about me, you're not writing about me proper. You're writing about who the me could be of use to the thee. And thee is T-H-E-E, which is an old English word to say the you. So what help am I to you? Be it socially, be it business, be it whatever, okay? It depends what you want to communicate. So let me read that again. Hello, I am Irinaldo. I am a father living in Natal, state of Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil. I am a fan of technology, music, and fitness. I'm also interested in politics and innovation. You can hire me with a click on the button above. you may have noticed that I put certain emphasis on purpose. So let me repeat, I am also interested in politics and innovation, okay? Giving importance to innovation. Politics can be an arguable thing with some people, but you want to talk about politics. I don't have a problem with that because this is about you, not about me. Now that's generated by About Me using their AI and machine learning tools, which you click certain buttons and out it comes. So from that, we then move to the 5 key factors so that we can get a key word. We need to get a key word about IRINALDO. What does IRINALDO want to say? Let's go back up here. Don't forget, this is a tutorial as much as we're trying to finish IRINALDO's About Me. So let's go to Wilson. In his, this is a joke. He doesn't love cats, but he doesn't hate them. But there's a joke behind this. We were in a session. Someone in the background. Sorry, I have my doors open because my house is open to the public. I'm sorry about that. So what Wilson wrote about himself equally as he did about me, the first stages. Wilson, Rennie de Medeiros here. That's what he wants to say, but we're going to change that a little bit. What's up? I'm Wilson. I'm a software engineer living in Natal, /RN. I'm a fan of technology, reading, and programming. I'm also interested in web development, information security, and education. I am a master's degree in software engineering with a special focus on security. That was just his first pass. And he did this on his own without my assistance, because my assistance comes after. So what does he want to highlight? I have a master's. No, I am a master's. I have a master's. I work with infrastructure, security infrastructure at the IFRN. For the last 10 years, I've been developing automated software, developing automated software, blah, blah, blah. I'm a researcher in compliance with blah, 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 blah. I was a researcher, blah, 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 blah. So there are 2 elements here that sound wrong, and I've already spoken to him. What does he want to emphasize? He wants to emphasize that he is a researcher. His palabra-chave is researcher. Security, research in IT security matters, because that's constantly changing. And if you don't research, you don't innovate. So we have to gear his text. We have to gear his text accordingly. So IRINALDO, do you understand what I've described using somebody else's, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go to you. Let's just go one step further, just so that for the element of tuition. Let's take Diego. Hello, my name is Diego Saraiva. Currently, I'm living in Natal, Rio Grande do Norte. I am a professional software developer and doctoral student in software engineering at UFRN. After my master's degree, I worked as a teacher at UERN and as a visiting researcher at UFRN for 2 years. So I moved to the IT market. I worked with embedded software for a couple of years. Currently, I am working with web development at EFRN. I have a particular interest in software architecture, data structure, and algorithms in C++. I like to develop applications regarding performance and low memory footprint. Thus, C++ is perfect for me. Do you agree? That's great, because you're engaging the audience. He wrote this on his own. He has a level of English quite high. We need to manipulate and I need to what we call wordsmith. Wordsmith is when you articulate language with words, or re-articulate language with words. So I decided to start a blog to help the C++ community broadcast modern and good C++. The main goal of my blog is to present how to produce a clean C++ code, which, while maintaining performance. After all, in C++, we don't pay for what we don't use, right? So visit it, and let's talk about good C++. Now, I understand what he's trying to do here. We got to get the messaging a little bit better to an audience that would otherwise be listening to him in English. So here are the highlights. So from the highlights of these 5, he's written that piece, which is in progress. Let's now go to IRINALDO. Carlos, we've still got to do some work. So we've been to the highlights. So IRINALDO, I'm not going to change here. The final document will have the translation just for demonstration purposes. It's this easy to translate in Word. I highlight the word, I go right click, and I get a menu, traducir. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do is I would copy that line into a second line like I've done that, because when you do the traducir, on the right-hand side comes the machine, the translation machine interface. And you can choose the original language, which is, of course, English, to Portuguese, or any combination thereof. So it detects Portuguese from Brazil, even. And I'm going to change here to English. Inglês. Because my Inglês. So I would click that, and look how quickly that changes. If I go insert, like this, it inserts directly. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. Sorry, I should have detected that. So we're going to change it to Portuguese. Again, we're still in test mode, so bear with me for a while. So I'm going to go insert. Boom. Colocar. It puts it in exactly the same place. So what I did previously, and I'm not going to do it now, is I created a second line and formatted accordingly, as you see there. But I'm going to do an undo. Okay. And we can manipulate that later. So actually, no, let's do the opposite. We're going to, what if I say? So we have it all in English because we are speaking in English. I work as a sales consultant. Okay. So we're going to translate again, right click. It's already, okay, it's picked up the language. You see how it popped up? It's now, I got to change here, back to English. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to insert. Okay.
I have more than 50 years.
So I'm going to translate that. I've still got the machine, the translation machine open. Do you see that, IRINALDO? It's already translated English, so I'm going to insert.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. And I'm going to do the last one. Por aí. Once I upgrade my equipment and my Wi-Fi, my internet, we're going to be flying. But essentially, this really does what it's supposed to do. Okay. So what do we do now? I'm going to copy all of this into my clipboard. Okay. For the purpose of clean. I'm going to copy that, but I'm going to close the translator because otherwise it confuses the whole procedure. Okay. And I'm going to go to the text box, and below here, I'm going to, in a minute, colocar that. But I'm going to do an undo so that we have the original Portuguese, because I want to keep the Portuguese. Okay, we're back. But we need to figure out your keyword. Sorry. Okay, we're there. So we go back down the document. I'm glad we're working on the Word because we obviously could not do this in a PDF. So now I'm ready to paste IRINALDO's text, right? So what should be evidence one? IRINALDO wants to emphasize that he has a BA in management, accounting, and technician. So I have, okay, I have okay, it's formatted the same. Okay, so it's right, justified, so we're going to change that. We don't need this anymore, so we're going to take it out. I have a bachelor's degree, it's fine. Now, remember what IRINALDO said before, above. Hi, oops, beg your pardon. Father consultant. Hello, I'm IRINALDO. I'm a father in Rio Grande do Norte in Brazil. So we're going to take this text, okay? When it wants to come up. So many things I got my, there you go. We're going to copy it and we're going to do this. We're not going to remove it because we want to leave what we talked about before. So we've used that and we're going to colocar, we're going to locate over here. Right? We're going to paragraph. Okay. So he said, I am a father living in Natal, the state, which is the capital city of the state, the state of Rio Grande do Norte in Brazil. Okay? And that's good because whoever around the world gets to know or wants to know who he is, and here we can say, I have a bachelor's degree in management and an accounting and an accounting and in management and an accounting technician qualification. We'll talk about the details más tarde, later on. But this is for the purposes of showing you what is. So that's evidence one. That tells me who he is as a person. What I do this. What does he do? He's already told us. He has, right? He has more than 10, 15 years. Okay, so we've already used that. So we're gonna attach that. Oop. And we'll do final edits as we go along, but the idea is that you keep, sorry, that was wrong. I went to it. We're going to use these two statements. I would suggest that we say this first, just to colocar. Okay? Are you following me, Irinaldo? Hello? Irinaldo? Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Copy. And paste as the second evidence. Okay. Opa, wrong. I didn't. Shoot. I didn't translate. Sorry. I have more than 15 years experience. Okay. Okay. That's evidence two. But we're going to, for the purposes of tidiness, we're going to touch that because it's gone. Okay. Now, this statement, sorry, it's jumping around a little bit. This is the problem working with Word Online. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to copy. Copy. I'm going to that's not right. Okay. And then I'm going to paste this here. As an introduction to the next. Okay, we've got about, because we started at 2:10, we're going to finish in 20 minutes. So we're going to clean up a little bit here. We're not going to say anything about a date because you don't want to talk about dates. Sorry, I'm going to go to the English here. Okay. There's enough here. Rinaldo. Okay. So that's evidence too. It's all about Rinaldo. We're going to clean that up. But what we now need to talk about is he's going to do that. What is he going to do that? What is he going to do? Going to do that, meaning I'm going to do whatever I'm going to say as a statement in 3. Irinaldo, você está aí? Hello? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing right now. I know I'm going to say this. For the purposes of my future prospects and willingness to work to live and work outside of Brazil, I wish to perfect my English and have decided to dedicate my time to this challenge. I'm married. Personal statement. I am married and have 2 children. Okay, so that's basically the next level of his of Irinaldo's microbiome. It's not perfect yet, but we got to the next stage. We know who he is, where he lives, evidence 1. We know what he's done, what he's doing in evidence 2, and we now look into his prospects, which is evidence 3. And personally, he's married and has 2 children. So you can have a very good understanding of who he is. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and see if Irinaldo is there for us. 1 second. Irinaldo. Alô?
Oi,
Não sei o que aconteceu,
tô
amigo.
te ouvindo bem.
Você me ouviu?
Oi?
Você me está
Perfeitamente.
ouvindo? Que bom,
Sim.
porque desapareceu. Ok, não entendi nada. Você viu os passos de... I'm going to speak in English so that the closed caption subtitles does not get confused. I believe I can edit the subtitles, but I want to do minimum working editing because the idea is when you listen to this tomorrow, the day after, when the document is, when the final video is complete with double subtitles, because only those who subscribe, pay the program, get the final tuition video, which is this. And so will the other people in the program. That's the value of joining the program and paying for it. So we all generate material for each other. And people will hear me as the native speaker. I encourage you to repeat what I say, okay, which we call shadow speaking. So if I say something, my name is, you repeat my name is, out loud. And you could be in front of a mirror if you want, so that you can see your mouth move. Because one of the things about learning languages is you've got to also understand the physics, okay, of your own body. The physics, I mean physical of your body. For example, 4 years ago, I could not say carro because my garganta, my throat, just did not work like that because I speak Spanish as my first as my mother tongue, okay? So I would say carro, which I use my tongue for, okay? Carro. Carro uses the throat. And that's part of the training that we do too, but that comes on later. The greatest example for this is the, TH, the. We were practicing here with Carlos this morning in the session this morning.
The.
The. Perfect. I can see that your tongue comes to your teeth, your top teeth. 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 And it takes a while because your tongue is programmed to, for the day, speech in a different way. But that comes with time. A lot of people use TH and pronounce the thing. No one in my program is going to speak with an F for the TH. Some people say it's acceptable, not on this program. To me, it sounds like you are uneducated and you do not know how to pronounce the English language. I'm not asking you to speak what we call posh, high class. No, I'm asking you to be consistently understood. Okay, and that's what we do. So your microbiome has gone to the next level. Okay, so all that you wrote is fine. We just need to manipulate it a little more. Because we only have 10 minutes, I want to just close this by saying that you need to think about what you need to do for your third evidence. As you saw, I put what we call a placeholder, which is you have an intent to emigrate. Now, I don't know whether you want to go public on that. You don't have to say anything to anybody. But this about me is live online. It doesn't matter. We can go make a global statement that you want to improve your opportunities for employment as a father, mother, as a married person, father of two, for future prospects. The world is changing. The globalization issues. People are now going to be employable across continents without actually moving. I mean, I saw something come into my Facebook saying you can now be hired from overseas, which is the next level of home office. So you don't need to be in Sao Paulo or Natal to work in corresponding cities in the same country. You could be working with people in Melbourne, Australia, London, England, California, San Francisco, California. Or you can physically be there, Canada, Toronto, Vancouver, which is your preferred destination. So evidence 3, you need to think about what you want to say. And that statement is very important, which is a capacity statement. You've told us who you are in evidence 1 and where you live. You've told us what you do in evidence 2. In both those paragraphs or in both those sections, we're going to clean up the text to give it a better flow. But I now need you to think about evidence 3. What do you offer to another?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how good you are. You got to prove it to me. You said who you are, but you need to attract me. And I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I spent 2 years being interviewed for a job to go and work in Spain. 2 years. And I was still in my midst of training as an architect. I'd got my equivalent to my master's. And my third is really what we call a professional practice exam, which gives me my licensure, a bit like a lawyer has to go and do, what they call it. I forget now, but you have to work for a lawyer. We don't have to work for a lawyer for free or an architect for free. We get paid, but you have to work, use what you've learned, and then go back and study for 2 more years before you get a chance to do your exam. So in the middle of this, I was being interviewed by a company who worked with the pharmaceutical business. It was only in my last interview, which I think was the 5th interview, that the interviewer, director of the company, asked me a very important question. And he said to me, okay, Peter, we know who you are. We know what you can do. If we send you to Madrid in Spain, and you arrive there and you're part of the project team and you have your first meeting, and the Spanish people, the Madrilenians, or whoever they are in Spain, are having this big heated debate, as they sometimes do,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do? I said, Well, I would join the heated debate as if I was one of them, because I do speak the Spanish language, as you know. And when we're done, I'm sure we'll have a resolution and we'll go and have dinner together. The guy turned around to me and said, "You just got the job. You just got that job." And to re-emphasize, that is exactly what happened the first meeting we had on the project that I went to build, that I designed back in England and built with an Australian project manager. And exactly that same thing happened. We had a meeting. It got a little bit complicated. We all calmed down. That was the afternoon. And in the evening, we all went to dinner and everything was fine. So what do I offer? I offer my experience, my training, and also my understanding of where I'm going to work. And that is very important. And it's also very important when you communicate that, or when you communicate anything, because when you're speaking or writing to an Australian, it's not necessarily the same as you do when you're communicating or writing to a New Zealander, who are two nations that speak very similar, but their values are different. South Africa, the same. Canada would be different to United States. And even one state, Quebec or Vancouver or whatever, city of Vancouver, sorry, in District of Columbia, would be perhaps different to talking to a New Yorker, for sure. We know that New Yorkers in the state of New York speak very differently, and probably the people in the city of New York communicate differently to the people in the rest of the state. So you don't take it for granted. That's why when I train English, I keep it simple, so you don't get misunderstood. I believe I have a very neutral way of speaking English because I've developed that way, because I originally married and have two children that have New Zealand connections. They are now living there. I married a New Zealander in England. I've lived in California. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in Ireland and worked in Ireland. I lived and worked in these places. In Ireland, they thought I was from South Africa because I speak in a particular way. But after 2 years, that shield disappeared. They realized I really was an Englishman. And then all the complications came because they still have issues with English or British. Anyway, I think I've achieved what we intended to achieve, which gets you to your next level. Do you have any questions, any doubts, or any questions? Basically, this weekend, next time we meet, I hope it's Monday, Tuesday, quickly, is you finish, and you can write in Portuguese if you wish, your evidence 3. What is it that you want to declare to someone else? What do you want to do next? You understand? Let me put this in the chat.
Okay.
What do you want to do next? What do you want someone else to do? Okay. What would be your call to action? We call CTA, which is what do you want someone to do next? Read your book, go to your website, employ you, teach you Russian. I don't know. Okay. But most importantly, what is your value? Okay. To another. And I say that another and don't say person or company or anything. because it could be anything. It's entirely up to you. Did you understand everything? Yes?
Muita coisa, muita coisa.
Exacto. Prefiero mantener
Ah,
inglés.
oi?
Puede falar em português. Pode falar em português.
Não, eu entendi bastante coisa, sim, claro. Verifico apenas a necessidade de, né, essa semana, pelo menos, me aprofundar um pouco mais, pelo menos na minha microbio, estudar um pouco mais sobre ela, né, ler um pouco mais, entender um pouco mais palavras que ainda não são comuns ao meu vocabulário, tenho que introduzi-las para que isso para que isso soe natural como o exemplo que você deu do Martin Luther King, não é isso? Esse é o meu desafio.
Exactly. So what Irinaldo's saying there is in Portuguese is that he now understands that he has to focus on a more pointed message, a more directed message. He needs to understand his own vocabulary, which is basically the lexicon of you.
Yeah.
What is your vocabulary? It's not the same as Wilson's or Diego's or Karina's or Carlos's. Carlos is a graphic designer. Karina is a journalist. And Diego and Wilson work in IT. It's nothing to do with sales, and petrochem, if you like, or gas, energy, right?
Yeah.
And we can talk about renewables. You can introduce the
Mhm.
idea of renewables. You understand the importance of renewables. And renewables is a global thing. We're all talking about global warming now, okay?
Yeah.
And Brazil is probably one of the richest countries of opportunities. That is untapped. That's what people are talking about. There's Russia, of course, they got endless amount of gas, right? But here in the Rio Grande do Norte, exponentially, wind energy is growing because the majority of this state is flat. And that's why Petrobras is changing it's gone offshore, okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
And not so much onshore. And now the president of Brazil, Bolsonaro, is talking about privatizing it. So there's a lot of things going on, all right, in your world. So you need to position yourself in this very small exercise, which is more than important. It's small, but huge in intent because it begins to help you understand how you need to think on a global scale. And that's really what I train. I don't train you in English. You will train yourself in English as we go along. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you need to train yourself in both languages at the same time. That's really what I do. So that we can cut out the middleman, should we say, which we call the textbook. And I don't want you to be buried in the textbook. I want you to be buried in yourself. So your value proposition, what is it of interest to another person, another company, another organization, another entity? So think about that. And it doesn't have to be perfect yet, because we're going to go to the LinkedIn profile. And there we take those 5 elements that we talked about, and we use 5 and 5. 5 strengths that you have and 5 characteristics that you have. And we combine those with 5 other evidences and 1 value proposition. What is a value proposition? A value proposition is what you can offer or what you want to offer. You may not have that ability yet, but you will do. I did not have the ability to work in pharmaceuticals when I got that job through my language. But I got the job and I transferred from regular architecture to industrial architecture in a moment because I found the opportunity. And you have to do the same. That was 1991. So we're talking 30 years ago. The world is different now with technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. Look what we're doing now. We can translate this video bilingually and present it. So the opportunities are endless. So,
Yeah, it's true.
so that we know and we can record your competency in English, would you like to speak to me about your experience this afternoon? Did you find it
Mu- tá
educational?
muito boa. Excelente a
In English?
experiência.
Can you speak
In
in
English?
English or not? Yes, please.
Okay.
Slowly. Just think about
This
it. Don't have to be perfect.
this experience was very good for me, and I'm going to study my microbiome this week, né? This is a big challenge for me, and day by day I have challenged me, because what do you say? You say I I want to live in other country. This is my desire, and my family. Yeah, it is.
So in summary, okay, so that it comes up clearly on the closed capture subtitles. IRINALDO is saying that he has set himself the challenge to become proficient in the English language, to give him the opportunity to take a test that would allow him to prove his competency in English effectively, is what this is an extra to what you just said, because he has a desire to take himself and his family to another country which is English speaking. And that country at this moment in time is Canada. So IRINALDO has a passion, and he has demonstrated it to me over 2 years. We've been talking about this, and I have not let go of IRINALDO, because I know when he's ready, and he now is, he's on the program. And my job is to make sure that he makes his dream come true. I won't make it come true. I'll help him to get his dream come true, because that's what I do. It's not my job. It's not my job. It's not my job is to help him get to that stage. Otherwise, I don't have a value to you. Okay? And I have to do that with everyone in a different way. Okay? So I train you to be a trainer of yourself, because as a continuum, you have to continue to perfect yourself. But you know that now you're in the program, you're in it for life. As long as I'm alive and I'm running this program, you have me as your support, because after this will come more people, because we're building a community. It's not a school. We may one day have a building in which we all congregate, because I'd love to do that. I'm an architect. I'd love to build that. But my goal is to build a community of people like you, Carlos, Diego, Wilson, Karina, who really want to dominate the English language in the correct way, in a good way, and in an individual way. That's what I focus on. It's about you. My job is about you. Your job is about someone else. No, my job is about you, Diego, and everybody else. Otherwise, I don't have a job. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I've learned, I pass to you, and I will continue to learn from you and from the others. I've learned a lot, so we share. Okay, I think it's been a fantastic tuition, lesson, conversation, promo, whatever you like to call it. And I'll work in the beginning of next week to get these videos out to you guys. It'll go public with subtitles in English only, and in private with bilingual, only to the members of the program. Concordo?
Yeah.
Show. Ok. Gente, boa tarde, bom fim de semana. Abraço.
Tchau, tchau. Boa tarde. Bom final de semana.
E não esqueça essa tarefa.
Ok, pode deixar.
Ampliar Evidence 3. Manda para mim por WhatsApp. Em
Ok.
português. Em português. Assim vamos
Pode
trocar.
deixar. Pode
Ok?
deixar. Me envia esse material que você fez agora, tá bom?
Tá bom.
Que a gente fez junto aqui, mas envia para mim atualizado, tá bom?
Eu posso mandar este vídeo sem, porque vai colocar-se em YouTube imediatamente.
Ok.
Eu mando o link e você pode ver para ouvir.
Perfeito. Ok.
Ainda eu
Tá
tenho
bom.
que fazer muito trabalho para conseguir closed caption.
Sim.
Mas the lexicon has changed, closes now for the weekend. It opens its
Ok.
doors. It opens its doors literally at 5:15, and class can start at 7:15 a.m. on Monday. Okay?
Ok.
All right, my friend.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you. And you keep messaging the group with the enthusiasm which is enthusing. Carlos is doing the same. He just had a great time this morning. He walked out the door almost dancing, bailando. Forró. Tchau. Tchau.
Tchau. Até mais, Peter. Tchau, tchau.
Boa tarde. Tchau, tchau.
Boa tarde.